Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to pre-market update. You can see futures yesterday came very close to this top second and third line. You can see S&P 500 futures. Usually, whenever it's close to this third standard deviation, this is first, second, and third line. Usually, it's a good shot. And inversely, whenever it's coming to closer to the bottom green line, this is usually happens like 10% of the time. Usually, it's a really good buy entry. So if you shorted there on S&P 500, you made almost 1.12%. Dump there, and then here on Nasdaq you can see almost easily 1.2% dump here as well. And Dow Jones was a little weaker. It came to second standard deviation and went down 1.27, and Russell 2000, you can see it even touched third line, and you can see as soon as it touched it gave everything back. Okay, so you can see very nice short here as well, and then went down 1.65%. Bitcoin even I think did that. You can see Bitcoin even went above, and now where it is right now from there, you can see it's down almost 2% here. All right. So yeah, so I share these levels with my subscribers every hour. If you're interested, click the join button in the description of this video, and I think that's going to be very helpful for you. Okay, so let's go to this chart. This is the guide of S&P 500 where we are right now. We are near this orange line. You can see I'm expecting S&P for the two possible scenarios, right? From here, it could pump to around 6306. So it's possible it can go from here to maybe near spring 2025 to around 5%, 5.24% higher, can go there. Or inversely, if it comes back to this green line, that's what I'll be looking to buy. So from here, if it comes back down, around 9%, I'll be looking to buy in this green area. I will let it do its own thing and keep an eye on other stocks which I'm buying and which I'm sharing with my subscribers, and then I'll be letting it to come back here, and I will be looking to buy. And it does come back. If you think it's not going to come back, it does come back time and time again. You can see it come back here, and nice rally from there, and it usually touches the red line as well. You can see it touches red line, so it can touch both red and green lines. So you got to be just patient, and usually whenever it touches green lines, that's where you want to be buying. That's going to be an opportunity of a lifetime. All right, and that's what I'll be loading 3x ETFs. All right, so let's go to side by side comparison, and let's go to a daily chart for now, and let's look at SPX cycle chart. So XPX was looking for a rally. You can see this is a rising cycle. Rising cycle is it's continuing this week, probably till end of this week. So looking for this prices to hold, or also there is a gap. This yellow line is a gap fill, so probably they can still take it higher to fill this gap. This gap is going to fill around 60.37, and then a reversal can happen. Now just keep that in mind. If I go to 1 hour chart, there is a gap up yesterday. Okay, so this gap up, they tried to fill that gap towards the end of the day. It did not happen. They could try to fill that gap and then rally, or they could rally and then come back later. Okay, so there is a gap here around 59.45. Another gap here. You can see that gap is also here around 58.76. Okay, so two gaps are here. So you got to keep that in mind. If I go to SPY, same thing here. There's a gap at the bottom, top around 601, and then there are two gaps down. I am eventually looking for the selection gaps to fill. It's just not a matter of when, it's just a matter of, sorry, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. So right time, this gap will be filled, and that will be a good area to buy. On live market right now, futures are 0.14%, not doing much, holding above this white line, which is good news, which is 20 moving average, and now it's above all moving averages. Again, a pump here will go and fill that gap, yellow gap, which I talked about. Nasdaq also, you can see holding nicely above all moving averages. If I go to NDX chart, the gap is even bigger. Okay, if I go to 1 hour chart on NDX, you can see a gap here, a gap here. So these two gaps again, this top gap 21,764, they're trying to fill that gap. And if I go to daily chart, that's where they're looking for filling. That's around 529. They're trying to fill that 529 gap. That's what they're gonna do. Then maybe they'll come back later on. The election gap is all the way down here, so keep that in mind. Dow Jones, there's a top gap around 432.97, and then bottom gap is around here 415, and then Russell. Um, it opened actually on a gap up yesterday, Russell, and then it gave everything back. That was pretty interesting. And actually, you can see I did not delete this, but I should delete this gap. So they Yeah, so the gap was filled, and then now there's another gap here around 221, and then at the end there's 211 is the most of the gap, so probably they're going to bring it that down. Eventually on the top side there are gaps around 234 and 237. Bitcoin, all right. Good news for the Bitcoin bulls. Change in trend. Okay, so it was making lower high, lower low. Now it made a new high. So it could afford to take a higher low and then keep going higher. That's possible. On BTC futures, just remember there is a gap here. If I go to 1 hour chart on BTC futures, you can see here this gap up. So this gap will fill, just a matter of time, and just keep that in mind. I don't know when. This is still a change in trend. It could even make a new high, and but that's going to be a divergent high if that happens. Okay, so keep that in mind. Um, but again, so far change in trend, any pullbacks you can buy for a bounce. And again, if SPX going to like 6300, this could go to like near 130, 140s by spring next year. That's not an issue, but it's going to be very tricky. Again, and Ethereum, sorry, and that on BTC, another election gap is here around 77K. That's going to be another downwards move, which could be bought at some point. Ethereum chart, gap around 39, 37. They're trying to fill that gap first, then they will come back bottom to fill that 29.74 gap. So just keep that in mind. Toronto Stock Exchange tried to rally, but weak. Yesterday closed below all moving averages. Let's see if it can rally today again. There's a gap around 25,600, and inversely there are other gaps down. Hang Seng Index, I'm looking for this 18K gap, just chopping around doing nothing. They could, a dump will bring it back here, which is viable. Bonds are looking weak. They are going towards, I think they're going towards here, 107.19. So that's what's going to happen in TLT. That is around here, around 80s, low 80s, all right? So that's what I think they're trying to target, and that will be a really good entry, buying it here, okay? There are some divergences building on RSI, so let's see. You can see, we'll see. This one happened October and then it rallied, but this one is happening in January. It's interesting. Crude oil, you can see very, very bullish. Yesterday came to 200 moving average, gave everything back. Today getting a 9 count sell signal. Let's see what it does before. So 9 count sell signals still can rally. Here it made a top and went down. Here it made a top, rallied another day, went down. This is a top and down. So usually it's a very good signal that we are near a top on 9 count sell signal. So we'll see how it goes, but there is a gap around 75.39. So I'm pretty sure they're going to fill that gap before any weakness. But yeah, long term, even any pullback can be bought. So I'm looking for a buy the dip market on oil, looking very bullish. CNQ oil miner was up almost at 1.3.5%. Some came near some resistance, but there's a gap around 32.19. So probably they're looking to target that today. From where it closed yesterday to that gap is around 3%, 2.8% away. Okay, so that's not that far. They could do it today. So just keep that in mind. But if the Canadian one is little stronger, also getting a 7 count sell signal, but there's still many targets. XLE, for some reason, gave everything back, was up nicely, but there's also a gap around 89 and 92, so keep that in mind. So let's keep on moving to other commodities. Natural gas gap around here, 3.24. Probably they're going to come back, fill that, and then start to rally later on. Gold is up, finally trying to go above all moving averages. Okay, so gold is chopping around, consolidating, trying to break out. A close above all moving average is bullish, I want to be honest, and it could be looking for new high. Inversely, actually, I will be looking for this 2400 level. I don't know when it's going to happen. And silver is also trying its best to go above all moving averages. Copper came near this support and now bouncing since then, going higher. Sugar is also near support bouncing. Wheat also, actually, it is right now in the buy zone. And the corn is also looking very bullish. This was a big gap up and then since then just going higher. Dollar is holding nicely actually. A little bit of divergence knee high, but coming to support any weakness in dollar can be bought. Apart from that, in terms of FANG stock, Apple Little rally yesterday. Still looking for this gap fill. Like if I delete this support area, there's a gap here. Okay, so 233. That's where I will be looking to load Apple. Meta was really bullish yesterday, new high. Google was really bullish as well. NVDA as well, new high. But you can see all these gaps, guys. They're all going higher on a gap. Again, up pre-market. All of them are on a massive gap up. You don't want to chase these because eventually they're going to come back to fill these. Micron also had a massive gap up. So keep that in mind. MicroStrategy also going higher. But again, I feel like this was the top and looks like we'll see how it goes. All depends on Bitcoin, but this 271 gap is definitely a filling opportunity in my opinion. Other than that, Wix is, you can see, came back to fill this gap. So we can delete this. Now there is gap at the top, couple of gaps at the bottom. We'll see if market goes higher, it's going to go fill bottom gaps. If market goes lower, it's going to go fill this top gap. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Hit the like button on your way out, and I will talk to you later. Bye.